Hello folks, the Y Guy here again. Welcome to my home on this very beautiful autumn day. The name of this video is called The Y Guy Disagrees with a College Level Bible Teacher. Wow, I would have the gall to do something like that. Shame on me, huh? I had this heated discussion on Facebook with a Bible scholar who teaches college level Bible literacy. Those were her written words, okay? I'm quoting her. And, but her testimony and that of her predecessors claim that the King James Bible is translated only from the Hebrew and the Greek, and not from the Latin Vulgate. Any good investigator, they're going to look at hard evidence over a testimony, as well as an investigator is going to look over inconsistencies in those testimonies. Okay, because evidence doesn't lie, folks, but the same can't be said about testimonies. It's obvious that I ran a horse ranch for a district attorney, and we discussed the cases around the dinner table almost every night, and that went on for a couple of years. Anyway, it's obvious I kind of cut my teeth in some of this stuff. I was going to go into law enforcement as well, but I'm glad I didn't. There's just too much evidence of how the King James Bible was translated, if not heavily influenced by the Latin Vulgate. I was told by this Bible college scholar, who taught literacy, I was told by her that even in the preface of her King James Bible, it plainly states that it was translated only, and the key word is only, okay, from Hebrew and Greek manuscripts. Yet, let's look at some evidence here. Evidence, okay? In a Latin to English dictionary, infernum is a Latin word, and it's defined in English as hell. All right? Let's just stick that in the back of your thinker. Okay, evidence number 2. The word hell cannot be found within the Hebrew or Greek Bibles. However, it can be found in the Latin Vulgate as what? Infernum, as well as in the King James. Okay, so, I'm not reaching here, folks. History tells us that on again and off again, for over 300 years, the ancient Scandinavian tribes of that time invaded what we now know as modern-day Italy. And the Nordic people believed in a goddess of their underworld who went by the name of Hel, H-E-L, with a single L, but pronounced the same way, all right? Now, I don't consider this hard evidence, what I'm going to share here, but more conjecture. Isn't it even a remote possibility that the Scandinavian invasions, and I meant invasions, plural, on again, off again, for all those years, might have influenced the Latin culture with their belief in the goddess Hel? I don't know. Considering that it was a span of over 300 years, Well, back on topic, anyway. Now here's more evidence, not conjecture, okay? If the King James was translated only from the Hebrew and Greek languages, then why didn't the King James use the word Sheol, which is Hebrew, and the word Hades, which is Greek, instead of the word hell, which is infernum, Latin? All right? Come on. Common sense, all right? And they did this in specific passages. Now here's the thing, a common denominator of both the Latin Vulgate and the King James Bible is that their word usage of hell, i.e. infernum, is used in the same passages, but yet it wasn't translated from the Vulgate. More evidence. The word eternal is used in the Vulgate and in the King James Bibles, but not in the Greek. Wow. The Greek Bibles use the word aeonian, referring to a segment and or a quality of time. Yet both the King James and the Vulgate refers to the same word in the same passages as meaning a time without end. Eternal. You following me? A couple more. Evidence. The word unseen is used in my Concordant Literal Bible, and it's also in the parentheses in my Greek Bible that replaces the word Hades. So that even Hades doesn't even belong in there, frankly. But let's not get into that in this video. Anyway, in my Greek Bible, in referencing the parable of where the rich man was, in the parable of Lazarus and the rich man, as well as different passages in the book of Revelation. Yet hell, infernum, is used in both instances in the Latin Vulgate and the King James. But yet, the King James wasn't translated from the Vulgate. Last evidence, and there's more, but I'm trying to keep this video short. The phrase, wrath of God. This one you need to really look into, folks. The phrase, wrath of God, which is quoted in Latin-based Bibles in Romans 5, 8, and 9, is found in both the Vulgate, Latin Vulgate, and the King James as reading like this: "We shall be saved from the wrath of God through him." I'm just quoting it, all right? Now here's a huge problem with this verse, folks. The words of God. It doesn't exist in the Greek Bible, but it does in both the King James and the Vulgate. And we're supposed to believe that the King James wasn't influenced by the Vulgate? College level or not, okay? Simple investigator kind of a mind can blow holes through this stuff, and with hardly any investigating. You know, I do, in closing, I do sympathize, and I don't mean this in a patronizing way either, because I mean it sincerely. I do sympathize with those who have been taught via this biblical academia that this lady was, and then later they make their living as pastors, priests, and teachers using the information that they've been taught. You know, and to suddenly come to grips with how they were taught wrong. You know, it can be life-shattering, frankly. It can really upset the cart, you know. So I can understand the resistance. It's actually, the words that come to my mind is cognitive dissonance. That's really what they suffer from, because it's just too hard to face reality and face the truth. You know, I'm willing, as the why guy, to re-examine all this evidence that I shared with you here on this video, and to say that I could be completely wrong about all of it. Yet those same people with cognitive dissonance, they refuse to do the same. That should tell you something. You know, I talk a lot about these kind of things that just don't add up in my my book called In Defense of God's Love, written by yours truly. You can find this on Amazon. I'll try to remember to leave a link to it in the comment section of this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you are going to leave comments, make sure they make sense and they're polite. I added that make sure they make sense part, because if you're just going to vomit a bunch of scriptures, I'm going to respond with, what's your point? I don't care how plain those scriptures seem to you. Not everyone is you. And no one can read your mind. So make your point, okay? Talk to us. Just don't, bunch of scriptures. Come on. Help us all out. We're all in this together, folks. Anyway, look me up on Facebook under a group called the Why Guy Group. I asked 3 questions for you to join. Common sense questions, really. And I have an avatar name of John Anthony Jones, which isn't my name, but it's an avatar name. You can look me up. That's public. So, anyway, I hope this video made sense and somewhat entertained you and maybe enlightened you, and if anything, causes you to research stuff, especially if you don't agree with any of what I said. So it's good even if we don't agree. Do you agree? Thanks for viewing.